Welcome to Crypto Corner, everyone, your crypto radar for all the latest news, reviews, market analysis and tutorials that help you master the crypto markets. Well, today I want to draw your attention to a thread that was posted on Twitter by Reuters. They say crypto could be revolutionizing the way we pay, but is it doing more harm than good? And it is a series of tweets, but they're actually referring to this article that they posted yesterday. It was on the 26th of January, actually, so 2 days ago they posted this, and it is in relation to the latest, again, pressure that El Salvador is getting from the International Monetary Fund to drop Bitcoin as a legal tender. And in fact, it seems that more and more countries right now are becoming really hostile to cryptocurrencies since last year, as we saw that big boom in Bitcoin, new all-time highs and everything. It seems that more and more governments are now really afraid what cryptocurrencies are doing to their economies and what could be happening if cryptocurrencies become even more widespread. So in fact, we are now seeing more and more campaigns against cryptocurrencies mass adoption, something that we've been trying to achieve for the last 10 years, and we are still on the path of achieving it. And with NFTs and DeFi growing so fast last year, we are really approaching that moment where crypto mass adoption will become a reality. However, it seems that governments are now determined to make this difficult, if not even completely cancel it, if possible. So this is what's currently happening, and I'm going to quote this article here because it is not all about El Salvador. In fact, while El Salvador is pressured by the International Monetary Fund to drop Bitcoin, the President Bukele is not really taking that pressure. So far, he has brushed off these claims by the International Monetary Fund. They are not necessarily complying with that. So for the moment, El Salvador is resisting the pressure by the IMF. However, many other countries are already imposing all kinds of new regulations or restrictions or even outright bans to curb the usage of cryptocurrencies. And a lot of the times they're using very convenient to them excuses that are not necessarily facts. For instance, in Russia's central bank last week proposed banning the use and the mining of cryptocurrencies on Russian territory. Russia is actually the third biggest region in the world for crypto mining, so this could be quite detrimental. They're citing threats to financial stability, their citizens' well-being, and high energy consumption. Now, the high energy consumption has in fact been one of the biggest talking points for the last few years, and especially last year it became the biggest talking point for all of the opponents to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular, especially when Tesla made that quite public act of stopping accepting Bitcoin just shortly after they started. I think it was a month or two after they started accepting Bitcoin as a payment method. They retracted, they walked back, they said, no, this is too much of a energy consumption, we don't really like this, we're a green energy company, so we are going to wait until we see that Bitcoin's energy consumption is more green before we start accepting it again. Well, we've talked about this on this channel many times already. You know that Bitcoin mining largely is actually renewable sources because it is actually too expensive to just use regular energy sources. So there is a big percentage, it's not yet half of all Bitcoin mining, but it is close. It's around 40% of Bitcoin mining is actually using renewable sources. So what is the other narrative that is being pushed in order to curb the usage of cryptocurrencies? Well, it's that cryptocurrencies can be used for money laundering and to finance terrorism. And this is where the article continues here. Russia, the world's third largest player in Bitcoin mining, has argued for years against cryptocurrencies, saying that they can be used in money laundering or to finance terrorism. Well, Russia should know about that because they have used cryptocurrencies specifically for these two purposes. And it's not just Russia. North Korea, I reported recently on that. North Korea last year hacked so many different exchanges. Over the last few years, in fact, some of the biggest hacks on exchanges were leading to North Korea. And they were using China and exchanges in China in order to sell these stolen cryptocurrencies. So North Korea, even though not mentioned here in this article, is one of the biggest players when it comes to abusing the usage of cryptocurrencies. Now, Indonesia apparently is also now taking a negative stance or hostile stance on cryptocurrencies. The article claims Indonesia's Financial Services Authority this week said that financial firms are not allowed to offer or facilitate sales of crypto assets in the country where cryptocurrencies cannot legally be used for payments. Now, this doesn't really make sense very much, because when we're talking about assets are typically stocks, or anything that you invest in. Property is assets. You don't use stocks nor properties to pay for things. Yes, of course, you can sell these assets in order to pay for stuff, but you don't use stocks to be directly paying for something, or your house to be directly paying for something. So when we talk about assets, it is understood that assets are not means of payment. So cryptocurrencies, if we look at them as assets, there is no problem in owning an asset that you cannot pay with. So even though cryptocurrencies are not classified as currencies, they are not legal tender, you cannot make payments with cryptocurrencies in that country. However, what is to stop you to owning them just as an asset? To me, this excuse here of Indonesia doesn't quite make sense. Last year, the Indonesian Ulema Council, a top body of clerics, likened the trading of cryptocurrencies to gambling and said that using them as means of payment is unlawful in Islam because they carry elements of uncertainty and harm. I'm so tired of using religion to restrict people's liberties and to restrict what people can do. This is so wrong. Anyways, in India, the Indian government has said that it was looking to bar most private cryptocurrencies in a new bill that would allow only certain cryptos in order to promote the underlying technology and its uses. Now, this, of course, is in fact an attempt to actually push the citizens of India to start using the digital currency of India, which is about to be launched very soon. They're already working on it. I'm not sure whether they're already ready with it and already testing it, or are they going to start testing it. But I'm pretty sure that by the end of this year, India would have come out with its own CBDC and will be testing it. So this is law that they're trying to construct here, a new bill, in order to restrict the usage of cryptocurrencies, but allow the usage of certain digital currencies, which their CBDC will be. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. If you're watching this channel regularly, then you already know my stance against CBDCs. I really don't like them. I feel that they're not going to do anything good, but they are definitely going to do a lot of damage. Now, I'm not going to talk about CBDCs too much here. I'm just going to continue with this article because there's more and more countries, guys. Pakistan is the next one. Pakistan's central bank earlier this month recommended banning cryptocurrencies, arguing that allowing them to be traded would cause capital flight. After a careful risk-benefit analysis, it emerged that risks of cryptocurrency far outweighed its benefits for Pakistan, it said in a report. Now, of course, the benefits for who? The benefits for the government of Pakistan or the benefits for the citizens of Pakistan? I would argue that this statement is purely focused on the government itself and definitely not on its citizens. Let's not forget that governments are supposed to be helping citizens. They're supposed to govern their nation and do what is best for their nations. However, that's not really the case with most governments. They are self-serving. They're trying to do what is right for the government itself, not for the citizens, because if you empower your citizens too much, then you don't have that much control. Every government wants control. Even right-wing governments or left-wing governments, I don't care what is your political stance, whether you're right or left or in the middle. Governments want to keep the control. This is why they're doing all of these different measures in different countries in order to restrict cryptocurrencies, which give you the liberties. Censorship-resistant currency is not something that governments want to support. Singapore, the Monetary Authority of Singapore last week banned all advertising of crypto assets, including ads through social media influencers. Companies can only market them on their own websites and social media platforms. Now, this is not that bad, okay? This is basically regulation. I can agree with that, because banning all advertising of crypto assets, especially from influencers, this is regulation. Influencers have been promoting all kinds of crap, all kinds of, meme coins and things that are worthless. purely for personal gain. They get paid and they promote it. They don't really care. So this here is regulation. This I don't mind. While the central bank strongly encourages the development of blockchain technology, the article continues, and innovative applications of crypto tokens, the trading of cryptocurrencies is highly risky and not suitable for the general public. So this, again, I agree with that. Then not that they're not completely suitable for the general public, but they're highly risky. And in fact, what happens is when the general public gets involved with trading of these assets, a lot of the times they make losses because they're not prepared, they're not experienced with how the market works. And this is why we're seeing every time Bitcoin drops, there is a mass selling, people are exiting and they're making losses because people are scared easily, and the retail investor is the one that is the first one to sell when things start going south. So with this stance, I agree. I mean, they're not really banning cryptocurrencies, they're restricting the use of them, they're restricting the promotion of them. So in a way, you can say that this is by far the least crypto hostile measures here. In Spain, last week also, Spain regulated advertising of crypto assets, including by social media influencers, and requires any advertising to include warnings about the risks involved. Again, I don't have a problem with that. Australia last month said that it will create a licensing framework for cryptocurrency exchanges and consider launching a retail central bank digital currency, CBDC. There you go. Australia is also almost ready to launch their own CBDC. The government will begin consultation this year on establishing a licensing framework for digital exchanges, allowing the purchase and sale of crypto assets by consumers in a regulated environment, authorities said. Again, I don't have a problem with that. When you regulate these kind of things, you're actually providing more security to your customers, more security to the people who are going to be trading these cryptocurrencies. They will have protection, something that currently there isn't. So this is good. China. Regulators in China, as you know, intensified a crackdown on cryptocurrencies with a blanket ban on all crypto transactions and mining last September after barring financial institutions and payment companies from providing services related to crypto transactions back in May, as well as in 2013 and in 2017. Yeah, they did that quite a few times over the last few years. Every time they would ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we would see a huge drop. Then it comes out that China was buying all of these dips. China, until recently, I was looking at statistics and I shared with you a statistic. I don't really have it handy right now, but China was the second biggest holder of Bitcoin in terms of crypto wallets that are known, that are being traced. The Chinese government was the second biggest owner of Bitcoin at the same time as they were banning Bitcoin a few times. 2013, 2017, I think, if I'm not wrong, 2018 as well, then 2020, and last year, 2021, they did the outright ban on all crypto mining, all transactions, everything. So this is not going to change. China is already has already launched their CBDC. They were testing it in a few different regions in China. I think by now it is already rolled out. In fact, they are pressuring even American companies, big corporations such as McDonald's and other ones, to start accepting their own digital currency in the wake of the Winter Olympic Games. So definitely China is by far the most aggressive one when it comes to banning cryptocurrencies and pushing their own CBDC. Turkey, last year I reported on that. Turkey's central bank banned the use of crypto assets in payments, saying they entailed significant risks due to volatile market values, irrevocable transactions, and because they are used in illegal activities. Well, Turkey's economy is really suffering. I told you recently I was in Turkey and I was shocked to find out that their currency has dropped by a lot. I can't give you an example right now, but it was at least 50% cheaper than it was just 6 months prior to that, and it's definitely more than 60 or 70% cheaper than it was a year ago. So their economy is suffering, their currency is really weakened, and it's losing power every day. So they want to stop their citizens from going into cryptocurrencies, which will protect their purchasing power, but it will further weaken their economy. So this is just a desperate attempt of Turkey to try and stabilize their economy, even though they're doing so poorly that I don't really think this is going to help. And lastly, Nigeria's central bank barred local banks from dealing or facilitating transactions in cryptocurrencies last year, reinforcing restrictions that have been in place since 2017. The ban has pushed the industry underground, with Nigerians trading between themselves using mobile messaging apps and platforms such as Binance and Paxful. This has opened them to scams and the risk of arrest. You see, this is what is happening when you try to ban something in this way. I mean, we've seen that generally bans are not necessarily the best way to stop people from using something. I mean, of course, it is an effective way in the most part, but it really drives people into an underground market. This is what's been happening with drugs for the longest time. Narcotics and drugs generally are against the law in pretty much every country that I know of. However, for many decades now, this is a billion-dollar industry, and it is an underground industry, and it leads to all kinds of crime, people losing their lives, people being thrown in jail for life or for many years for things that, if regulated, could actually be a very different story, and many lives could actually be saved. So yet again, is the banning of drugs actually saving lives, or is it driving more people into underground, into unregulated and very dangerous kind of means? So this is really the big question here. This is what's happening with Nigeria. People are now getting scammed because they don't really have a proper regulated framework that will protect the user. And this is what some countries like Australia are doing, or Singapore. But as you see, most of these other countries are in fact trying to outright ban cryptocurrencies, and they're not going to succeed. In fact, they're only going to drive their citizens into more and more scams and more danger. This is the reality. Is your country banning Bitcoin? The EU recently tried to suggest that they should be imposing an outright ban on Bitcoin mining, yet again following the narrative of the high energy consumption. I really don't think that the EU will succeed in making this, but if your country is taking a negative stance on cryptocurrencies, you should do something about it. Try to get together with like-minded people, other people who are in cryptocurrencies, set up petitions, start protesting, start organizing, speak to people in power in your country. You can always reach out to your local representative and try to make them understand that the usage of cryptocurrency is not only to facilitate terrorism or money laundering. This is not what the majority of crypto users are doing. Even though this exists, there are some users of cryptocurrencies that are involved in money laundering. This is by far not the biggest use of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are having a lot of utility, especially with platforms like Ethereum and decentralized applications. DeFi is definitely disrupting the financial industries, and this is what the real problem is. This is why we're seeing this kind of organized attempts from all different corners of the world right now to stop the usage or to curb the usage of cryptocurrencies. It is not going to succeed, but definitely it will make it difficult for many people, and in the process some people will get scammed and they will lose a lot of money, which is in fact the complete opposite to what all of these countries are trying to tell you by restricting cryptocurrencies.
And there are, of course, worries of relationships between El Salvador and the IMF. Does any of that matter to some of the investors that you're talking to?
No. I don't think a lot of these organizations like the IMF or World Bank are really relevant in a world based on Bitcoin. They're only relevant because they can print money, they can make the SDR, they can make money out of thin air. You can't do that on a Bitcoin standard. It really takes us back to what money should be, which is just money, not a surveillance mechanism and not a tool to enforce your beliefs and economic policies on another nation.
This episode of Crypto Corner is sponsored by BitYard, an exchange that I have been using for well over a year already. They operate in 150 countries with licenses in USA, Estonia and Singapore, and provide spot and leveraged trading on numerous assets. Not only they have loads of cryptocurrencies, including some of the newest coins to hit the market, but also derivatives such as crude oil, precious metals, gold, silver and more, stocks such as Nasdaq and MiniDAO, and they offer up to 100x leverage on many of these markets. What I find very useful is that on spot trading they separate cryptocurrencies in groups like DeFi tokens or proof of stake tokens or tokens from the Grayscale Trust portfolio or Binance Smart Chain tokens and so on. This makes it easier when I want to focus only on a specific category of tokens, and they keep adding more and more assets. They have tripled the list of supported coins since I started using this exchange, so there's a much better choice already. In terms of security, they keep the majority of their funds in cold storage with only a smaller portion in hot wallets that are used to pay withdrawals, and all withdrawals are manually approved during working hours only, so there's less risk of violations or exploits. They offer a copy trading service, so users that aren't very experienced can take advantage of those who are more skilled and make profits by copying their trades in an automated and uncomplicated way. You can go through the stats for each trader and choose what amount to allocate to them, and you can choose multiple traders to copy at the same time. You can use it on a desktop or mobile. Their app is on both Android and iOS, so it's easy to use it on the go as well. As I said, I've been using this exchange a lot throughout the past year, and the customer service team is very responsive, unlike many other exchanges where I've had to wait for days and weeks sometimes to get any response. BitYard has a live chat service, so you can find assistance pretty fast. They also offer up to $258 in various bonuses for new users, so grab the invite link from the description below to register and find out more. Alright, well, this is everything for today's episode, guys. Thanks for staying until the end, and if this helped you, please share it with someone else who would also benefit from watching this. Also, don't forget to leave a like and a comment below. Ask me anything. All kinds of questions are welcome. I will be answering them in the follow-up episodes, and this is also helping the algorithms of YouTube to pick up this video so that it can reach more people, which is great, and I'm grateful for it. Also, don't forget that I'm running giveaways very frequently on this channel, so make sure that you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm posting a new video. And also don't forget to check out the links in the description below, where I share with you my top crypto services, my top crypto exchanges, top crypto wallets that I'm using, and I've done reviews on all of these and step-by-step tutorials as well. Also my 2 ebooks, Learn Crypto, the Ultimate Beginner's Guide, where I share with you everything that I've learned in the last few years of being in this industry, including my mistakes, so that hopefully you can avoid making this. And Crypto Jargon A to Z, this is the ultimate dictionary with over 1,000 terms and acronyms and trading slang that people are using on social media or YouTube videos like this one. And also using some of these links, which are referral links, will show your appreciation to the content that I'm creating here. And I'm creating content almost on a daily basis. News, reviews, technical analysis, tutorials, everything that helps you master the crypto markets. Thanks for staying again until the end of the video. Now I'm signing off, and I will see you in the next episode.